свет и радость. Это весь мир, это дружба и мечты. Детство, детство, детство это краски роду. Детство, детство, детство это я и ты. Все люди на большой планете должны всегда дружить, должны всегда смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Ярко, ярко, ярко пылают лишь рассветы. Ночью, звездной, пусть спокойно спят поля. Детство, детство, на врагу не зря согрето. Детство, солнечный твой день, земля. Все люди на большой планете должны всегда дружить, должны всегда смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Все люди на большой планете должны всегда дружить, должны всегда смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети, должны смеяться дети и в мирном мире жить. Дружить, смеяться, дружить, смеяться и в мирном мире
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad, and on and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Today we're going to be working on PocketQuest! Yes, we're going to be working on PocketQuest today. It's like 10 o'clock, and I plan on going until we finish something. So yeah, you could arguably call this a Notepad Must Die stream. Generally speaking, PocketQuest is a thing done by DriveThruRPG, which is making a game jam. And you have 20 pages and it has to be about summer camp. Yes, summer camp. Last time on PocketQuest Z, I went through quite a few different games just to hammer things out, because for some reason along the way, I decided to say, fuck it, I'm couldn't decide which one to do, so I'm just going to do all of them. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're gonna make every single one of them, and just to see if I can. Woo! Let's see. So today we're gonna be working on the Exceptional Youth Camp, otherwise known as Super Soviet Science, otherwise known as it's Akira by way of Soviet Russia. Technically, it's the Institute for Higher Learning and Advanced Theoreticals. There we go. Yeah, that's how we're doing it. That's how we're justifying it. Because I'm here, we get to do the fun part, and let's see what people are talking about PocketQuest about. Come on. Because there actually has been some more. People are actually, like, making things. And people surprisingly didn't quite go for what I was thinking. Again, my immediate thinking was going to be, these guys are going to go straight onto horror. And there's a little bit of that. But mostly it's going to be like this, is what I've been noticing. A lot of, like, strict summer camp stuff. A little bit more than what I was thinking. So I'm like, okay. Alright, maybe oh, look, it's fun riffing on Scooby-Doo style haunted summer camp. Whoever said no Scooby-Doo was and made the right call. Yeah, a lot of ghosts. Like, it's still there. But, like, a lot of things are more strict than what I was thinking it was going to be. So I'm like, alright. Okie dokie then. So, but the odd thing is, at least what people are posting anyway, my ideas are at least present. Let's just say that. My ideas have not been taken at all. They're still present and still valid. So yeah, we're leaning into it a little bit higher. So yeah, here's the June-Lee Notocracy. Currently we have 17 responses on here, 8 responses on here, but 19 total responses. So there are people who didn't vote but just left a comment, I think, which is even better. Generally speaking, we have a pretty even pie chart, roughly. Technically, Cant of the Canterbury and Guns of the Patriots are pulling ahead, but just slightly. This is actually a very tight race over here. However, we already have patrons voting, and I'll give you a hint. One of them have already pulled ahead by a very large margin. So maybe it's not as cut and dry as I would hope it would be. However, things can always change. Also, someone requested that I just make Monster Girl and Gachi Muchi games from now on. Which, fun fact, I think I have the superhero idea right in my head simply because of Mr. Physical. The Morb Me Daddy, more Notekins. Someone still wants D&D 7th edition featuring Lumen and PBTA. Never going to happen. Never. Some people also want me to look at the Velvet book. I will need to go over the ORE system one day. One day I will go over the ORE system. Yeah, just people. Yeah, pretty consistent. Yeah, like this. This guy didn't even fucking vote. You fucker didn't. You fucker didn't even vote. This guy just said bend the Finn principle. That's all he wanted. Why are you the way you are? All are. Why? Why do you do this to me? Let's see. Let's see. Do we have anything fun and exciting? Mine is the correct answer. Okay. Okay. We've gotten correct answer. And let's see. We've got more morbing. Oh god, more morb. So it's a Morbius adventure. And it's funny because the people who I think kind of know which one's which are making decisions, and it's very funny that they aren't sharing anything. It's always the best. That's always the best in my opinion. See, Ironside here is sticking to his guns. He rejected the vote because he just wants his monster girls. I can respect that. But yeah, today we're going to be working on Exceptional Youth Camp, otherwise known as the Psychic one. And let's see what we actually worked on in this one. Yeah, we decided on a 2d6 plus stat system. We got some basic physical ones. Let's see, Pioneers roughly 9 to 15, emotional roller coaster, counselors are older, Pioneers. Yeah, there we go. So, okay. Choo-choo. Head researcher. Cool. Yeah, we know. Okay, we know what to do here. We're gonna make this pretty tight. Again, it says within 20 pages, not just 20 pages. So we're going to make this as... We're not going to break any balls doing this. Let's just say that. So, that brings me to heading 1. And for the few people who are curious, the font up here is called Russo 1. And we're using Rubik as the text font. So, let's see. How do we want to start this? We'll do... Participation is mandatory. Participation is mandatory. And the exceptional youth camp. Exceptional youth. Let me just open up every single thing I shouldn't. So, participation is mandatory. How do I want to open this up? Okay. When starting a game of exceptional youth, when starting a game of exceptional youth camp, each no. How do I want to open this up? Playing the game. Where's yeah, okay, we're gonna exceptional youth camp is played with 2d6s, two six-sided dice, because we're going to make an assumption that people don't know what they're doing. So we're gonna be a little bit patronizing, but we gotta kind of do that sometimes. Let's see, 3 to 5, 2 to. Let's see, with 2d6s, we'll say 3 to 5. 3 to 5 would be pioneers or counselors. The head researcher who will guide the game. And a desire to push the limits of the how did I want to do Institute for Higher Learning and Advanced Theoreticals. Institute for goals. There we go. Because we just want to make sure. Okay. Each of the players will be taking the role of either a pioneer or a counselor. Pioneer is actually, how do I want to? So actually, the exceptional youth camp is being hosted in, let's see, what would be the appropriately grim year. Let's do, actually, let me remember this. Endless Summer, a visual novel. When was the exact date where they go back in time? That's not the right one. This is the right. Everlasting Summer. Young Pioneer Camp. Run visual novel. Twitch. So this would be in the 80s, roughly. We'll say 1983 Soviet Union. What was going on in the 83? Actually, no. Wunderweapons. Yeah, we'll just say, yeah, fuck it. We'll go with 1972. Actually, no. Let's see. Let's see. Hosted in a remote part of the USSR. The USSR in the early 80s. In the early 80s, with a clear. So in the early 80s, that would mean the Soviet Union is currently in decline. And okay, good. Hey, what are you building now? This is for PocketQuest. It's a DriveThruRPG decided to host a game jam, so they decided to do a thing called PocketQuest. This is one of the games that I'm going to be writing, which is this, which is a game about Soviet pioneers, which is pretty much their version of the Scouts. Except the catch is that, surprise, they are also all of the kids are psychic, like horrendously psychic, and the Russians are like, let's try to weaponize them. Each of the players will be taking the role of either a pioneer in the early 70s. Each of the players will be taking the role of either a pioneer or a counselor. A pioneer is a young Soviet citizen. Is a young Soviet citizen. Is a young person around the age of 9 to 15. Around the age of 9 to 15. 9 to 15 from any part of the communist, any part of the Eastern Bloc of the Warsaw Pact. From any part of the Warsaw Pact. Their parents were given a stipend for a advanced research program, and they were sent off. They don't fully let's see, the pioneers do not fully understand their own power, simply that they, quote, have them, and somewhat how they work. A counselor is a researcher for the institute. A counselor is a researcher for the institute. Whether they want to be or not, as a field operative for the rather secretive organization. They are tasked with keeping the exceptional pioneers safe and happy, as well as making sure their limits are tested. They come in all shapes and ages, but primarily end up in their 20s to 40s. Let's see, 9 to 15. Their parents were in their 20s. Actually, we'll do 20s to. Let's say typically primarily end up in their 20s to, quote, relate to the assets better. There we go. Warsaw Pact. The appearance to give a stipend for advanced research, and then were sent up. Pioneers not fully understand their power, simply that they have them, and say how they somewhat work. Is there something else I want to add in here? Boys and girls are both accepted at the camp. Boys and girls are both accepted at the camp, and are which numbers at around 200, which hundreds at about 150 pioneers. 150 pioneers, but many are control variables. Most of the other pioneers that you're going to encounter are just regular kids who've just been drafted into it. They're a control variable. Well, something standard to be compared against. Where you got a psychic kid in the middle of not Eastern Germany. Yeah, no, this particular one is very much so. This one was going for a while, which was Soviet Super Science Summer Camp, because it was just fun to say. So, let's see. So, when either... We need to go here. Participation is mandatory. Let's see. We explain what's going on. We explain the situation. We explain the first set of characters. We explain the second. We explain the second set of characters. Then we go down here. We do heading 2. What would be we'll call it field testing. During their time at the exceptional youth camp, I'm gonna have to keep fucking spelling that. Their name is going to need to get a change eventually. During their time at the exceptional youth camp, both sets of characters are going to need to make tests. A test is when a chance of failure is possible with consequences for its failure. Pretty much, like, you're never going to make a check if there's no chance of failure or it's a kind of a consequence for it. That's the basic gist. Hopefully this cuts down on the number of checks. The chance of possible with the consequence for its failure. Hello, phone. When needed, the character will roll 2d6 plus a statistic stat. We'll just put that in brackets because it's nice to put these in brackets sometimes. 2d6 plus stat. Attempting to roll over a target note. We'll roll a 2d6 plus stat. Roll 2d6 plus stat for a standard test. For a standard test, they will need to hit a target number. They'll hit a target number. They'll need to hit or exceed a target number. They'll need to hit or exceed a target number. If I can fucking spell. For opposed checks against another character, the two will roll simultaneously. And attempt to score higher than the other. Pretty simple. Again, we need to understand what testing is, what a test is. We need to understand this. We don't need that. Just this. Heading to... Why are you all the same thing? You aren't the same thing, though. Maybe down again, Google likes doing this, especially when you start fucking around with different font sizes. Because, fun fact, Russo 1's a weird font because it's how it's spaced. So, what we need to do... Now, the best part is I'm going to have to actually PDF this particular game. And because I'm going to have to PDF this particular game, what I'm going to be end up doing is this is going to look a little bit smoother. Oh, actually, we'll do simple is going to be 2d6 system, 2d6 plus modifier. We're going to end up with like simple -5. We're going to do average -7. Actually, average dash. If we increase it by variables of 2, with 2, you're going to end up with 7 being the average of 2d6. So we need to make that a little bit higher. Actually, we'll do 9. We'll do 6, 9, and then we do difficult. Actually, no, we do complex, which would be 11. If we're increasing it by 3, would be 1, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Complex, hard, which would be 15, not very difficult, and finally we have complex, difficult, 15, and then technically that would be 18, which is very difficult, by the way, very difficult, which is going to be straight up just hard. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Also unrelated, but does any other American in the Chand find themselves calling other Americans burgers? I find myself on a rant of how much burger politics day and I fucking live here. I call burgers burgers when I'm making people fun of them. Why PDF? Because this is going to have to be officially submitted to DriveThruRPG, so I need to make it look decently different. Ow. Ugh. Sweaty. Yeah, just because I'm like, this is going to be having to get submitted, I'm going to have to PDF it. So I'm thinking, try to think a little far ahead. Hence why if you're thinking like, why does these sheets look so weird? It's because I've actually sized them a little bit differently. Field testing, and what we're going to do here is, if a character has an advantage in a situation, they will roll an extra d6, dropping the lowest die. Actually, how do I want to word that? A character has an advantage or disadvantage in a situation, they will roll an extra d6. They will from there. Actually, they'll roll an extra d6. From there, they will either drop the highest. They would either drop the lowest die. Drop the lowest die if they have advantage. Or the highest die if they have disadvantage. These do not stack, so you can't have like advantage 4 and roll 4 extra dice. No. These do not stack, and they cancel one another out. These do. There we go. Nice and simple. We've gotten exactly what we need. We're already at 3 pages, mind you. So we're gonna need to make this real fucking tight. So let's see, Battle Royale, we need to go down here. Okay, so we need to do assets and field operatives. Field officer. Let's see, pioneer assessment. Let's do actually, how do I want to word this? I want them to be like a group for, actually no, pioneer assessment and counselor, and it'll be pioneer assessments and counselor. What do I want to say here? It's kind of like the idea that they're being judged, like counselor vitals. That work? I don't know. I use vital. Oh. Pioneer assessments and counselor vitals. Kind of the idea being like things are very analytical. I want them to feel like you are not. This shouldn't feel like a comfortable. Actually, we do pioneer and counselor assessment. So let me just go here real fast. Oh, when entering the exceptional youth camp, each character, each pioneer and counselor will have a set of statistics. We'll have a set of statistics. Statistics which govern their natural abilities. And talents. Dealing how. Let's see. Each pioneer council will have a set of statistics which govern their natural abilities and talents. Let's see. These can be written on a note card with relative ease. So just make it very simple. There's no character sheet. You can write this shit on a note card. This is not a complicated game. So, actually, every character has these same four core statistics, but some have different contexts depending on but some have different contexts due to disparity in both age and talent, knowledge between pioneer and counselor. Having a high mental as a pioneer does not mean you're as smart necessarily as a counselor. No, it just means you're a little bit smarter than average. It's kind of one of those things like a check for, a pioneer to lift something up and, drag it somewhere may be a little bit more difficult than for a counselor, because a counselor is just, a foot and a half taller than you and just more well developed than you. Doesn't mean they can have some difficulties, yes, but they're just, an adult compared to you being 8. Let's see. Undefined. No, give me 1 second. Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta do this name correctly. And give me 1 second before they delete anything. What I can do is I can just do this. I'll just do that real fast. Let me just do that. Let me do the voice correctly. Undefined at Notepad Anon. Hello, if you need real, free, and high-quality service to increase your viewers, check streamdetails.co. Top streamers already use it. Non-binary pride 1001010. Beep boop. I mean, I for one, enjoy our, I enjoy our new robot overlord. So good job there. Let me just ban you real fast. Ban property yaks. Jesus. Hey, bots are people too. Haven't you heard about Lambda, the Google bot? Chatbot scared the shit out of me. Beep boop. Robosexuals, man, not even ones. Lando Calrissian is one. We can't. Wow. Thanks, Lando. Let's see, 4 stats. Disparity knowledge. Both pioneer and counselor. So, especially in the youth camp, pioneer counselors have statistic. So, we need to do physical. So physical. A character's physical strength, and actually no, character's overall physical health. Let's see, physical health and endurance. Having a high physical means the character is fit and ready. Pioneers. Let's see. Pioneer physical represents being strong for their age. Fit and ready. Actually, we'll do pioneer's physical. A pioneer's physical is both a representation of their health as well as their development. High physical means you may be 5 feet tall. The higher the physical, the stronger you, as well as their development. The idea being that if you have 0 physical, you probably look a lot younger than you should. You are a spindly little shit, and this is the really thin-looking kid. Oh wow, he's 13. It's where was that one thing? It's where's that one that I saw that I thought was hilarious? I don't have it, do they? They pretty much go Aunt Frank. They pretty much showed like here's like what Disney says like a teenager is. It's like a 30-year-old like ripped adult, and then they're like, this is an actual 18-year-old. It's just some like little skinny scrawny little fuck. Yeah, you were scrawny and the bullies pick on. Yeah, actually that's a, let's see, representation as well as their development. A counselor's physical is a more direct representation representation of overall strength of body and physical condition. The idea, yeah, it's kind of like a pioneer with low body is just a small kid. A counselor with low physical is like, you just aren't very physically fit. Like, you are a weird, you're a scrawny fucking dude. Like, kids can beat you up. Like, but like, you're probably also, the thing is that you're fully developed at that point. As an adult, you are fully developed. The unfortunate part being, mental. Characters, actually natural ability to pick up on details and notice their surroundings and others. Surroundings and other notice their surroundings. Having a high mental means the character is actually perceptive and something I saw that I thought was hilarious. They pretty much go away, Frank. Go away, Anne Frank. You guys never clip all the funny, wacky moments. No, you just list like women. Am I right? That's what you fuckers always clip. Having a high mental means a character is perceptive and intelligent. A pioneer's mental is more a more of a representation of their skill at understanding information. Has more of a representation of their skill at understanding information. A counselor's mental is more about their skill at delivering information. But Notepad, all the funny moments are about you saying women. Women, am I right? Don't you know that I'm just Titus Maxing? A counselor's mental is more about their skill to deliver and remember. Don't you know I want to become Desi Arnaz? Counselor's mental is more about their skill to deliver and remember information. They all naturally have. They all most likely are fully are. Let's see. They all are. How do I want to word this? They actually, every researcher is at least a college student. So it's kind of like the idea behind a mental being like, as a pioneer, your mental is a lot more about your ability to learn things as well as your ability to kind of pick up on information. It's you looking at something being like, that is weird, and I know it's weird because I'm learning about that. Like, hey, maybe we shouldn't eat the thing off the ground that's growing randomly. Or, oh no, I think we should kind of understand this. Like, being a pioneer does, like, it's kind of beating that information into your head. It's like, I don't know what's out there, but I want to learn more about it. Counselor's mental is literally about your ability to give that information out and you being able to remember that information. You're not stupid as a counselor. You are minimum a college student or someone with a relatively intelligent. For a little kid, it'd be just like, oh, perform this really complex math equation. I'm going to have you do that. Like, that's going to be a check for you to kind of try to figure it out. To a counselor, it's like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to be too complicated. Like, it's differences like that. That's what I want to get across, being like, it's more about delivery than it is about understanding. Which brings to stability. Stability. A character's mental well-being. Mental well-being and stable obligatory woman moment. Go ahead, Frank. You guys never clip all the funny, wacky moments. No, you just like women. Am I right? God. People are gonna get this terrible perception of me. It's not gonna help. Mind you, I am heavily thinking about doing a completely sloshed stream, just sloshed, just fucked up, and doing an entire stream just called The American Stream. And The American Stream will literally be me just answering questions mostly from Europeans and South Americans probably about, hey, why is America the way that it is? I got a fucking degree in this shit. And it's weird, people have this really weird perception of the US because we gave everyone a very weird perception of the US. Things are a lot more complicated than people like to think it is, but it's also a lot simpler. And it's like, well, like, why don't you have free healthcare? Being like, do you want me to go over the short answer or do you want me to go over the hour-long answer? I can do both. Neither are fun, but I can do both. That would be literally what an entire stream. You got a degree on pain and suffering. I got a degree in political science and with an Americanist focus. Wanted to do comparative politics, they would not let me do it because we didn't have enough comparative politics people. So I'm an Americanist born and bred, baby. Well, the secret. I'll take my hotter than hell. By the way, it's hotter than hell where I am right now. Yeah. Hot yoga notepad stream when my plan was to do it on July 3rd, literally next week roughly is when I planned on doing it. Just sit down, field every question I can in the next week, and just say, all right, gamers, let's do it. Let's go. And give me your questions. Give me your questions and I will deliver. Let's see. Character's mental well-being and stable thought waves. And the mental well-being and the stability of their thought wave. Of their thought waves. Mental well-being and the stability of their thought waves. Having a high stability not only prevents manipulation and skill. It's not only good for social encounters, but also for use of what would you want to call something that is not psychic powers? A very analytic way of saying psychic fucking powers. For neurological thought wave manipulation. There we go. But also for use of neurological thought wave manipulation techniques. Just out of the blue, being like a pioneer's stability is important for them to keep a hold over their powers. Keep a hold over their powers and their own emotional state. A counselor's stability is necessary to resist pioneer manipulation. It's the idea of being like, stability is mostly going to be used for like, this is kind of your social attribute. Mental is you being able to pick up on information. Stability is your ability to be like convincing people. If you have high stability, you're a friendly person. You're also a very controlled person. You're very stable in your own way of doing things. Kids are like going to be naturally gregarious to others, being just like, yeah, okay, kid. Like, I can't really say no to you because you're a stupid fucking kid. However, it's their way to kind of do that. The problem like the big thing being that if you have like a really high stability as a pioneer, I want you to feel like you're a weird psychopath. Because you're just this little scrawny guy who has like this immense stability over their own emotions. And, like, they're weird. It's like, ugh. Mentalism. It's like calling eugenics a skill. Mentalism could work. I think stability would work, because again, I want to keep it like things like, oh, it's stability. This is pretty standard. Because it's not psychic powers. Oh no, it's not mentalism is insane. That's crazy person. It's neurological thought wave manipulation techniques. Very different. This is, picture having to write this in a report to go to somebody else in another division. That's what it is. It's like, Alexei Zakharov displayed high talent with his neurological thought wave manipulation technique of setting things on fire. And it's like, oh, let's actually check. What would this be in Russian? Let's see. This would be English to Russian.
Неврологическая техника управления мыслеволнами.
Hilariously enough, this is how it would have to be read. So technically, it's NTUM. Your NTUMs. Your neurological technique for manipulation of thought waves. I might consult my local Russians, my horde of Russians that I have about the nature of it. I do have one. Manly Salmon actually is actually translating one of my games, which I'm like, oh boy. Actually, control a character. Let's see, a character's natural ability. Oh, not natural. Actually, let's do character's natural gregariousness and understanding of others. Character with high control. With high control, a character is not only adept at using their neurological thought wave manipulation techniques. Stability and control kind of end up the same. Actually, okay, I know what we can do here. We can split this up a little bit more. So there we go. Controlling their neurological thought wave manipulation techniques, but also keeping others in line. So stability is your ability to use it. Control is your ability to make sure that it's controlling it. You can shoot something out, but making sure that you can wrangle it back in, that's its own ability. That's kind of the back and forth. In a social sense, stability is your ability to kind of go out there being like, hey, everybody, like, let's that's being friendly to others. That's kind of having that, like, okay, it's the quid pro quo. It's a little bit more of the friendly relationships, a little bit more about having those ties to other people. Control's a lot more like, this is the iron hand. I am telling you to do something. Stability is good to actually keep, get things done. Control is when you need to clamp down on something. Pioneer's control. So what we can do is important for them to manipulate and use their powers freely and converse among themselves. Abilities necessary to resist pioneer manipulation and speak to other. A pioneer's control is necessary. It's necessary for them to keep hold of their powers to prevent them from going wild and speaking to adults. A counselor's control is the ability to wrangle the pioneers and assert direct authority over others. So it's kind of reversed. It's kind of reversed for both ways. Counselor stability is used for other adults. Control is used for the kids. Control for the kids is used to talk to adults, but their stability is used to talk among themselves. It's kind of that back and forth. A little bit weird, but it should work. Because if we just do, because control is going to go first. Then it would be mental physical stability. Okay. Kind of that back and forth. We do that right there. Control, mental, physical stability. Perceptive, every researcher. PocketQuest is due on the 1st of August. I have time. That's why I want to get this one done first, because I think this is the one I'm going to officially submit, because I actually kind of like what I did here. Psychic goat killing project. Let's see. Is somebody up to the task translating your games into Spanish? No. People have expressed interest in doing it, but no one's ever approached me and said anything about it. I'm debating on reaching out to other people for it, but it's I don't have the money to please translate my game. And there was one person who was doing it for free, but it was I'm not Latin American gamer hours. Yeah, no, not that. So, every character will be assigned a set of stat points to represent their abilities in the field. A pioneer has 10 points to distribute among all of their attributes, with a minimum of 0. Among all their attributes, while counselors have 20. Pioneers, actually both pioneers can have a maximum of 5 in any attribute. 5 in any attribute, while Maximum of maximum of 8. Maximum of 8. So if we do our stats right now, let's just do a quick stat. We're gonna do this is gonna be Alexei. Alexei is a cutoff. Alexi's a cutoff pioneer. And we'll do what would be a good Russian name generator. You got one? Hi, Reedsy. We do random. Arina Mikhailova. There we go. Arina Mikhailova, counselor. So we have our basic attributes. We have control, mental, physical, stability. CMPS. Control, mental, stability. So we want Alexei to be our basic. We're going to make him a pyromaniac. We're going to make him quiet, and we're going to make him actually reserved model student. And we're going to make Arena the outgoing nepotism subject. Hello, phone. How are you? My poor mama. Outgoing nepotism problem. So he has 10. Alexei's very good. We'll give him a 4. Actually, we'll give him a 3-3-3. So he's pretty good at everything. He's going to have 0 fucking there. He's not going to have decent control. We're going to lower his stability to 2. Keep that up. And we're going to do something like this. Alexei can control himself very well. He understands how kind of people work. He's not very physically fit. However, he knows the game. He's not very good at it, but he knows how to do things. Arena, on the other hand, she is going to be not very good at that. She's not going to be terribly smart. She's going to be pretty damn physically fit, and she's going to have a pretty good stability. So 12, 14, 16, 18, 6, 12, 20. There we go. She's not the smartest person in the world. She can't really control the kid. Actually, what we could do, I really want to be there. There we go. We'll do something like this. There we go. If I really want to be as precise about things, she's very good at manipulating the everybody else on base. However, she's very good with the kids. The problem is she's not actually very good at her job. There we go. So these look correct. Sag. There we go. But yeah, no, it's kind of like, yeah. Welcome, like, yeah, her entire idea is being like, yeah, you are a nepotism issue. Like, you're not here because you're qualified, you're here because you are. So, let's say, for example, Arena needs to convince someone to get her some resources to help her out. She's going to be rolling 2d6 plus fucking 8 for her stability check. So she rolled a 14, effectively, because she rolled a 4 and a 2. Yeah, she's very good at convincing other people to do her job for her. And she's like, okay, cool. However, she needs to reason something out. She rolled a 7, 8, 9. She rolled a 9. Yeah, not terribly high. She rolled a 6 on that, luckily. Let's see. Alexei, on the other hand. Alexei rolled a 15 because he rolled a 6 and a 5. Damn near perfect for his mental. So. Actually, can I fit these two? Can we do 2 tables? And we'll do... I shrink this down and we do something? Is it going to let me do this? No, it's not going to let me do this. Okay, we're not going to worry about that then. Comes down to it, we'll look at it. If not, but this works the way I want. We can probably slap a little image right here. Not a big one, but a little one. I may also, in the PDF, do something like this and have that spread on both sides of the paper. You have the big image right there so we understand how both of them work, and we can do a little bit of an example. Being like, counselors are actual adults. You are not. A pioneer is not. But you know what? I'm going to do this just so I can see the page count. As long as I can keep the page count on one side, I'm feeling a little bit more confident because I can understand how are we doing things. So, where are we now? We are here. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got what our characters look like. We've got how our characters act. We understand a little bit how they're functioning. They don't have that much differences, but this isn't going to be like an extensive system. This isn't the entire point. What do we want to do? Okay. Neurological thought wave manipulation. Thought wave manipulation. Neurological thought wave manipulation. NT. What would be music and out? Put that on loop. Put it on loop. NMM. Neurological thought waves. T-wave. Thought waves. T-waves is the main reason why the exceptional youth camp was set up by the Institute of Higher Learning and Advanced Theoreticals. My Institute of Higher Learning and Advanced Theoreticals. Certain children are able to develop their T-waves to use them more actively than others. The unexplained oddities of youth and fantastic stories were determined to possibly not be entirely fantastic. Most children have a latent ability to manipulate T-waves. Manipulate T-waves to augment their vision and memory. Augment their visions and memories. Kids see the world differently. Literally. Over time, T-wave manipulation bottoms out without training. We grow old. We lose the spark of imagination that keeps T-waves functional. The pioneers of the exceptional youth camp are those who have been tested and proven to have exceptionally high T-wave manipulation abilities. It is the duty of the institute as charged by the what would be the the exact what would be the exact term? The central government of the USSR. The CPSU. What was the exact term for it? Supreme Soviet. The Council of Peace. Ministries. List of ministries. Tractors and agricultural machines. Yep, welcome to Soviet politics. It's fucked. There'd be president, semi-presidential system, Congress, people's deputies, Mikhail Gorbachev, all unions conference. The Stalin Constitution. I guess it would be the State Council. It wouldn't be the State Council. It would be the General Committee, wouldn't it? You'd be the General Secretary, wouldn't it? Welcome to so it was as charged by the General Secretary. It is duty of the institute as charged by the General Secretary to understand, seek to employ the use of T-waves for the advancement of the USSR, training the pioneers who excel will be granted special permissions. Will be granted a special position. Who excel will be rewarded, while those who do not will be safely returned home. There we go. So it's kind of like the idea, like, oh no, the Soviets are totally trying to manipulate the literal imagination of children for Soviet super science. That is. Let's see. Question: Western spies outside of the. Well, there's Westerns outside the camp. American Dolls, you don't want psychics to be a kid exclusive. But see, I didn't get them less local. See, the psychic experiments in the USSR were handled directly by the KGB. Let's see. Charged by would be the head of the KGB. So head of the KGB. What would be the chairman of the key? By the chairman of the KGB. Is charged by the General Secretary and Chairman of the KGB to understand, see, and employ the T-ways for the advancement of the USSR. Pioneers who excel will be rewarded. pioneers must be pushed to their absolute limits. Limits to understand and harness their powers. Those who fail will be cut from the program. Those who succeed will join the the KGB was technically the Committee of State Security, Comité. Psychic Soviet Corps. Let's see. Corps. What did they have a name? The Psychic Corps? The Psy Corps. Am I going to Stargate Project? Yep, there. No, this is the Stargate Project. No, this was for that. Am I going to make a fucking Command and Conquer reference here? Yeah, we're totally going to be making a Command and Conquer the Psychic Corps. Russian to English. The PK, we'll do it would be the, PKK. No, it would be the KPK. We'll join the KPK. Join the KPK committee. Committee for committee of the psychic Psychic Corps. There we go. Committee of the Psychic Corps. Even though there needs to be something like far more. Kane lives in death. Kane lives. It was always Kane. Honestly, a full-on Command and Conquer RPG would be hilarious. I'm amazed. So actually, it's 11 o'clock. I could do Command and Conquer TTRPG. I'd be amazed if there isn't one. Apparently, there was. It was supposed to be Deus Ex. Let's see. Is there anything else? Nope. Not seeing that. Honestly. My problem is that I would need to make it. Yeah, honestly, to make a Command and Conquer game, I would probably make a Red Alert game instead. Because I like Red Alert more. Red Alert is what I played first. That was like the game that I played first. So I have like a special place in my mind for Red Alert. Unfascinating the fact we got to the 20th century, believing magic and spirit contact in the middle of the Cold War, full-blown government. Government thinking they can harness the power of the mind to blow the mind of others. The weird thing with the Cold War that I don't think people quite understand was that there was so much and so little information going back and forth with one another. You end up in a situation where they genuinely were looking for fucking anything to try to get a leg up on one another. It's like, yeah, we're gonna invest. It's like, yeah, let's invest in some weird ass spy shit. Makes no fucking sense. That's where you end up with like the pen gun and things like that. Just weird spy shit of like, we want to get a one up on them, to get a one up on you, to get a one up on them. And it was just like the fact that like containment theory is insane. If you really think about it for more than half a second, like we will preemptively declare war on people who are trying to spread communism. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, things were wacky during the Cold War. But it's like, oh, well, we want to employ psychic power. It'd be like, yeah, it works. Cosplay and cocks. Finally, my favorite. Finally, the good CNC. Someone's making a note here. What's going on? Fucking Varric posting cringe in my server. Many such cases. Neurological thought wave manipulation. This is literally going to be an entire like section of like, here's some bullshit lore that makes no sense, but doesn't need to make sense because so we need to we're gonna put a we do thought wave manipulation. Every pioneer has the ability to manipulate thought waves, allowing them to psychically control the world around them to various degrees. Due to their youth, however, these powers are very underdeveloped and quite chaotic. Due to their youth, however, these powers are very underdeveloped and quite chaotic. When a pioneer character is created, they will take a note card and write a single word or phrase which describes their power, their personal power. Their personal power. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. So it's going to be, let's say we are a we have pyrokinetic. We set things on fire with our mind. From there, so after this has been written, they will pass it to another pioneer who will write in a super cool awesome who will write in a phrase describing their power, describing their power in comparison to something else. So I'm a pyrokinetic. He can boils water like a stove. Describing their power in comparison to something else. They understand. You can't say like a thermonuclear bomb. They don't understand what a thermonuclear bomb is like. It's like yeah, you can like boil water like a stove. It's shit like that. It's like very minor. Something they understand. Each pioneer will do this for every pioneer. Each pioneer will do this for every pioneer. Then each pioneer will hand actually no. Each pioneer will do this for every pioneer. Once everyone has had their card filled out, filled out by their friends, by their pioneer friends, they will pass it to the counselors. They'll pass it to the counselors. Counselors. Counselors will write a problem or detrimental feature detrimental feature for the power to restrict it in some way. Often these are time, place. What am I thinking of? Time, place, or manner restrictions, which govern the particulars of the power. So, pyrokinetic can boil water like a stove, but must be able to see what they are cooking. So it's kind of the idea of like, hey, you can heat something up very, very quickly. So it's like, oh, they can do something like a fire, but you have to be able to see it, which is a restriction, which is a weird restriction when you think about it, which is like, I need to physically see something there. However, a counselor might say it's like, oh, it's only within arm's reach. That's a really, like, both of those together are crippling. Because you need to go up to something within arm's reach and focus on it, and then it can light itself on fire. It's like, okay, it's a restriction, a time, place, or a manner. Let's see. We got space guns. For no reason, I'll just have people start shooting others in space. Cold War Russia, they use thermonuclear bombs to heat up the living room. Seriously, look it up. There's startling overlap exposed to radioactive fallout and popularity of hentai in that area. Good old Sweden. Sweden and Norway. Good old Scandinavia. Oh goodness, I'm getting a phone call. I'm alive. Let's see. Fun fact, actually, about the Japanese birth rate has actually been somewhat fixed. It has increased. Shinzo's done it again. He's done it, boys. So, let's see. And restriction particulars of the power. After the counselors have written in the restrictions, they hand the cards to the what did I call it? They hand the cards to the head researcher. The head researcher reviews each of the cards, making minor edits if need be. But they will write in on each card a, how do I want to word this? Ow. Let me see. One each. So how do I push them? Okay. They will write on each card a goal for the pioneer to attempt to complete. Often these goals are primarily about pushing the power to its absolute limit, attempting to awaken something deep inside of the pioneer. There we go. Because one of the big things here, what the plan was that I actually want to use this system in particular for the Supers game if it comes out well. Because I think that would be a cool idea, being like, hey, yeah, you're kind of governing your own power. You kind of have a little bit more influence rather than me having to write out a list of like 700 powers. It's like, yeah, here you are. This is all you really need. So we'll do an example. We'll do an example. What was the random name I used? What were the two example characters I used? I'm a silly boy. I can't remember. So we'll just do example. We just need a random Russian name. We'll do good guy. Rudik Semenov. And what would be a fun psychic power? Psychic powers. List of psychic abilities. Yep, let's do pyrokinesis. Okay, we'll make it a very simple. And astral projection. Rurik Semenov and astral projection. Rurik 10 is a pioneer who has selected astral projection as his power. He hands it to two of his pioneer companions. Hands it to two of his pioneer companions, in which we do Russian name generator, because I don't realize I need names until Toma Vorobrev. Toma. Two of his pioneer friends. Toma and Natalia. Toma writes in that his astral projection is kind of like watching a television. He's able to see things like watching a television, able to see things that aren't technically there but still happening. Natalia writes in that the projection what would be another good astral projection thing is kind of like dreaming while awake. Natalia hands the card to Anastasia, the counselor. The counselor. Writing it in that Rurik needs to be sat down in a quiet space to successfully project. It needs to be a very quiet space to. They hand the card to the head researcher. The head researcher who pens in that Rurik needs to learn at some point. How do I want to word it? What would be a good thing to push it? Let's see. Quiet down successfully checked. It depends on that Rurik needs to be able to learn entirely. Needs to learn about another counselor. What's a good one? Stas. Need to learn about another counselor. Stas. Actually, learn about another counselor's. Stas. Secret. We don't know what the secret is. You just need to find out about it. Secret. The head researcher hands back the note card, and Rurik both looks confused and saddened at the state of his new power. There we go, perfect. The entire idea being that you need Semenov, and astral projection. So the big idea here being like this kid can successfully throw his mind out and learn about other things. He can see things that aren't necessarily there. The two problems that he has to worry about inadvertently is he can not only see things, that are distant and not, but still happening. He also has the issue of being like he needs to be in a quiet area and he can find things in kind of a dreaming state. He's not really there. He's not really there, but he's also totally there. So his astral projection is kind of weird. It's not like he's seeing things perfectly. This is weak mindset. Real Soviet would write 700 powers with 3-point font. You can't move while it's happening. How many psychic power are you gonna throw in? My basic idea is that like all the kids are only gonna have a single psychic power, and there's gonna be what they want. That's the idea. You can have whatever you want. However, you're going to have to rely on everybody else giving you problems with it. And once you kind of get that, be like, well, shit. Well, shit. Let's see. So we've learned about thought wave manipulation, neurological thought wave manipulation. Thought wave powers. What we can probably add in is thought wave manipulation. When a pioneer wants to use their power, they will need to make a stability check. Make a stability check. The difficulty is judged by the head researcher and has to be tied to the power, has to be tied to what the other pioneers have stated about it. Has to be the difficulty is judged by the head researcher. If it is tied to what the other pioneers, if I can fucking spell, pioneers have stated, then the check will be, will be simple to complex. Simple to complex. If the pioneer wants to push their power further, they're going to need to, they can say what they want to accomplish, but have to manage. But the difficulty of the test will increase from to complex and above. Character, if a pioneer is working against the restrictions laid out by the counselor, then they will have a disadvantage to the check. possibly having them fail rather dramatically. If a pioneer successfully uses their power, they will need to make a control check to keep it functioning properly. A power that is uncontrolled will quickly go. Will hurt others around. Will hurt others around it. Mostly the power that is uncontrolled will hurt others around it. Mostly the pioneer themselves. This check. Actually, let me make a control test. I keep saying check. Control test. This test This test is difficult. Let's see. This difficulty is determined by whether or not the pioneer stuck within the requirements of the check of the power, or they pushed it beyond their limits. So, kind of using the idea of the astral projection thing. I just realized that. Learn about Counselor Stoss's secret. So, kind of using this one as an example. If Rurik says in kind of perfect ideal conditions in the middle of the night, I want to astrally project myself and I want to go into another cabin or go into another room and just look at someone. Cool. That's written in his power that he's able to do that. Very simple check. He just needs to make a 5. And he's just to roll a 6 or higher and you're going to succeed. Let's say he has a 4 in that. So he succeeds. It's very easy to do. He can do that. The thing is, since it's in the middle of the night, he's able to do it. He can maintain control. He doesn't need to roll a control check. Very simple. He astrally projects himself. He walks into another room. It's kind of like a dream person. And then he's like, cool. And then he walks out. That's it. He doesn't need to make a control. However, let's say he wants to push it further. He wants to interact with the person. Like a dream, right? And he looks at the head racer. It's like a dream. I can interact with things like a dream. They're like, oh, okay, cool. It's like a dream. And he's like, I want to look at this person's dream. What are they dreaming right now? He astrally projects and it's like, okay, that's going to be a little bit harder. Just a smidge harder. He needs to roll an average. Let's say he has a 4 in, it would be stability. Cool. 4 in stability. He rolled an 8, plus 1, 2, 3. 8. He rolled an 11. Cool. He's successful. He touches the kid's head, and he can see their dream. He's in their dream now. That's how he astrally projected. He can see it. He's interacting it like a television show. Something he's just remote viewing it. He'd stick within his basic idea. But he now needs to make a stability. He needs to make a control check. He's done something a little bit more extreme outside of this. He's going to make a control check. It's only going to be a simple control check just to make sure that he's not doing it. But he only has control of 1. And he will say he failed. Like, oh no, he failed. He rolled terrible. What's going to happen now is that he did that. Now that kid is now freaking out that he's not supposed to be there. The kid's freaking out. Something has gone wrong. And it's a feedback to him. He's going to be losing his stability. He's going to become a little bit more destabilized. That's kind of the catch. That's kind of the back and forth. The more you go, the more you push it, the more you're going to get punished for it. Because you're still a kid, which is usually like the big thing when it comes down to the head researcher wants you to push it as far as physically possible. But if he's in like, oh, you're in a really loud situation, you want to try to astrally project, well, he's going to need to make a very difficult check. It's going to be hard for him to do that. But he needs to kind of learn a little bit more about himself. He needs to put himself into a situation of like, what really is doing this? Like, how do I put myself in a situation that is, I need to be in a quiet place? Okay, I need to be in a quiet place, and you sat down in a quiet space. Why don't I hide in like one of the janitor's closet? Why don't I hide in one of them? I just need to sit down. I go fucking limp. He goes limp. He starts exploring around. It's like he's viewing a dream, like a dream in a television. He's seeing things that are happening, but he's not present, or he can be present. We'll do destabilization and destabilization. This is the last thing we're going to do tonight because I'm very tired already. And what I want to do actually is after this, I'm going to download Lobotomy Corporation. I'm going to play Lobotomy Corporation tonight. Destabilization and dogma control. A pioneer pushing their thought waves out will enable them to perform amazing feats of power, but at the cost of their stabilization. Every pioneer has 10 stabilization. This let's see. How do it? What would be their mental let me see, thought waves. What would be a very technical term for like your mind is having a fucking mental breakdown? Cost of their mental performance. Every pioneer has a psychic stability. This represents their natural fuck, how do I want to word this? I don't want to use stability. I already used stability previously. It's a good word for this. You just have a fucking seizure. That is even though that's a very real possibility in something like this. I mean, like, yeah, you'll like this reaches like a critical mass, like you're just gonna have a fucking seizure. That could be like a representation of like something is very incorrect. Actually, every pioneer actually has a mentalist. Would be stabilization, because I would like the idea like, oh, you're becoming destabilized. Okay, every pioneer has a stabilization. Every pioneer has a stabilization score. This represents a mixture of physical, mental, and physical and mental health. It also represents the character, the pioneer's pioneer's ability to control their thought waves. A pioneer who fails a. Actually, each pioneer has 10 stabilization. Says like each pioneer has 10 stabilization. Every time they when a pioneer no. Each pioneer has 100 stabilization. 100 stabilization. Every time they fail a check, every time they fail a test, they reduce stabilization by the difference of the success, but increase stabilization if they are successful in tests. I'll put a little side note. Increase stabilization by the difference, by the positive difference if they are successful in tests. If a pioneer fails a stability check to use their power, they take double the difference in stabilization, but double the difference if but only they take double the difference in stabilization. Damn it. And so this is gonna be a lot of rewording here. I just need to get this down on paper. I know what I want to do, because it's like the idea that your stabilization is constantly falling. You just aren't very qualified enough to be successful at everything. You're going to be constantly kind of lowering it down over time. And that's the hard part. It's like, yeah, you suck. You're a fucking kid. Like, you are the least qualified person to be in this situation. Like, your stability is slowly lowering. But it's usually not that much. I mean, hell, it's like, oh, I need to roll an 8, and I need to roll a 12, and I rolled a 2. Oh no, I've rolled a 6, and so I lowered by 4. It's not really that bad, but it's like things like that fail their power. They see double the difference in stabilization, but only regain a normal amount. If they fail actually, However, if they are forced to make a control test to keep their power in line, then they will always reduce their stabilization by the amount. If they fail, they will take double the val. They'll take double the val. They will take the difference in failure, as well as the result rolled in destabilization. So it's just the idea of like, you even succeeding, you're gonna start reducing your state. You're gonna start destabilizing. You should not want to make control tests. The entire goal is for you to avoid making those control tests, because that's where things go wrong. That's you trying to control something you may not be entirely comfortable with doing, but you want to pursue it. That's the idea. You want to pursue it. If they fail, they will reduce difference in failure as well as the result rolled in destabilization. Especially, so if you fail, it's like, let's say you fail by 4. you're going to reduce your stabilization by 4. But let's say the test is, we'll make it simple. Let's say the test is 10, you roll a 4, you're going to take 6 stabilization damage, as well as the 4 you were supposed to. You're going to take full damage any way you look at it, kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, you just kind of suck and everyone hates you. Congratulations. Congratulations, everybody hates you. I'm probably going to rewrite this section here. I just need to get it down on paper more than anything. Fun fact, it does not like this word. I think I misspelled. I think put it stabilization, not stabilization. Very different. Deep stabilization, dog control. Let's see. If a pioneer were to become fully destabilized, if pioneer were to become fully destabilized, one of four results will occur, depending on their lowest statistic, which we're going to do. Body. The pioneer begins to violently convulse. Violently convulse as they have a seizure. They may survive. They may not. Let's do, not body, it would be physical. Physical control. The pioneer loses complete control of their power. With it operating independently. They will need to be controlled. They will need to be sedated or eliminated to reduce the threat. Stability. The pioneer's power causes a feedback loop on itself. The pioneer is no longer able to use their power. In addition, use their power as well as causing severe mental damage. There would be mental. The pioneer's mind shatters. This results in crippling mental damage and derangement. They will need to go to a specialized facility quickly. Regardless, have a seizure. Let's see. Regardless of the outcome, the pioneer is removed from play, as they are carted off by institute medics or shot repeatedly by institute guards. There we go. Yeah, what we do is understand that. We understand how all of this works. We're on page 8. We can okay. I'm gonna call it there for today, but I can probably wrap this game up independently. This won't be too difficult to do. I might do a stream tomorrow. Make it nice and simple like. And yeah, I think I'll probably get this done in like 12, 14 pages just to keep things really nice and tight. Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to call it there for tonight, though. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. Hope you had a wonderful rest of your night. I will see you all on Monday, most likely, and which we will do more Monster Girl stuff. Yay, Monster Girls. That means next Saturday, technically, I will be determining... Technically, what I should do is I will wait till tomorrow to do the results of the polls and see what anything else changes. We're pretty set on what the two are going to be, and fuck me if they aren't going to be big ones. So thank you all for watching. Goodbye, and have a nice rest of your night.